Hey, what's going on, you guys? Just a little bit of light right here. Maybe that'll be a little bit better, a little washed out. How you doing tonight? Tony Scott here on Smooth R&B 105.7 in the studio. Gonna drop some tea for you and a couple other things too. How's it going on this Tuesday? Tuesday's here. We'll take it. Beautiful day, up to 69 today, and tomorrow a little cooler, but we'll take it. Right? Back home in St. Louis, where my wife and kids are, it snowed there today. They were not happy. Not at all. So, but it is what it is, and thanks so much for hanging out with me today. We'll get started on this tea in just a second. So, I do want to remind you, if you're here for the Keith Sweat, the Smooth Spring Groove with Keith Sweat and SWV and Stokely and Tank and Vivian Green, you can get tickets right now for $10 to 57 cents lawn seats. Go to krb.com for more information on that, because that's going to be a pretty good show. So there you go. All right. Some tea today. Right before we were getting ready to go on with the tea, found out that Usher and his wife Grace Miguel announced that they are separating. Now, they married a couple of years ago, and they released a statement that says, after much thought and consideration, we have mutually decided to separate as a couple. We remain deeply connected, loving friends who will continue supporting each other through the next phases of our lives. So, separated. They didn't mention divorce. I don't know if the herpes lawsuits had anything to do with it. I guess if he has herpes, of course, it's his business. It absolutely is his business. But these other women claim they got it from him, and he does have herpes. That's kind of a hard thing to take, although they could have found out that he had it and then just claimed that they got it too to get some money, because people are pretty smart when it comes to attempting money grabs these days. So I don't know. I wish both of them the best, though, because I just hate to see any marriage break up. Stevie J is going to be going to jail because he hasn't paid $1.3 million in child support. Now, he owes the money. He's got to turn himself in next month. Supposedly, he's trying to raise some money on a GoFundMe page. I can't imagine him being able to, collect $1.3 million between now and then. But crazier things have happened, right? I thought he was loaded. I thought he had money. He's in the game. He don't have money in the game. He don't have $1.3 million to pay his child support. Come on, man, pay child support, man. Come on, man. Come on, dude. What's up? I'm just saying. Bobby Brown wants Whitney Houston's death certificate changed. He says that Whitney and Bobby Christina are not getting the justice they deserve. We already know who he thinks killed his daughter and what he thinks should happen to him. I told you about that last week. But Bobby doesn't believe Whitney died from drugs. He believes she died from a broken heart. Well, they can't put that on a death certificate. Officially, the coroner says that she had heart disease and cocaine in her system when she died. Bobby's not buying that at all. A lot of people, conspiracy theorists, think that she was murdered. But by who and for what reason? I've always wondered, but that's what some people think. And a woman has asked a judge for a restraining order against Trey Songz. Remember, weeks ago, we told you about Trey Songz. A woman accused Trey Songz of beating her at a Hollywood Hills party for talking with another man. She says he beat her so bad, he beat her like he was fighting another man. And she says the beating and the choking did not stop until security pulled him off of her. His lawyer says, you know what, we got witnesses that will prove once and for all that none of this ever happened. So we'll have to see how that sorts itself out. But she is looking for a restraining order. She works in a nightclub business, and she's worried that she may run into him or some of his people from his camp at an event, and she is kind of worried about that. So there's that. So let's see. Ann Homeda, how are you today? Latoya, good seeing from you. And Christina checking in too. Let's see. Compton Mayor Asia Brown has decided that she is going to run against Stacey Dash for that 44th congressional district seat in California. That 44th district includes Watts, it includes Compton, it includes North Long Beach, it includes San Pedro. And she's a Democrat, the mayor of Compton, and Stacey Dash is a Republican, and no one's had that seat. A Republican hasn't had that seat since about 6 years ago. So we'll have to see how that goes, but everybody seems to be putting their money on Asia Brown because she's more connected to that part of California than they say Stacey Dash is. So we'll see. It's voting day here in Texas, and the polls here in the DFW are going to close around 7 o'clock. So if you haven't voted yet, not too late, you get that information of where you can go depending on what county you're in at krb.com. Suge Knight's lawyers are being accused of conspiracy. One of his current lawyers and one of his former lawyers are accused of trying to bribe witnesses for Suge's upcoming murder trial. Now, that's a huge deal. If they got them, that's going to be a problem for those lawyers and maybe even for Suge. So we'll have to follow that. I had a laugh today because Tiffany Haddish was on with Kelly, Live with Kelly and Ryan after the Oscars, and she says she ran into Brad Pitt on an elevator. Let me let you see that. Let's see. Go ahead.
Him in the elevator, he said in 1 year, if he's single and I'm single, we gonna do it. So, you know what that means. But he do got 7 kids. I don't know. Why do you have to wait? That many kids. Why do you have to wait? I don't know. He told me to wait a year.
Tiffany Haddish right now is everything. She is so funny. From the NFL, the referee Ed Hockley, the one with the guns, he apparently has retired. He's 67 years old. His son Sean is going to take over as referee for him. I didn't know they could do that in the NFL, and I don't know if his son Sean has the guns that Ed. You remember Ed with the muscles on his arms? Yeah, he's calling it a career, as is Jeff Triplett. Very good career as a referee in the NFL. So nationally, the president's top advisor, his top economic advisor, Gary Cohen, has resigned. He wasn't on board with the president's tariff that he's going to start putting on certain products and stuff. He wasn't here for that. He disagreed with the president. The president said he was going to do it anyway, and Gary Cohen says, well, you'll do it without me, and he's gone. Kellyanne Conway is being accused of violating the Hatch Act, so says a federal investigator. The Hatch Act is apparently you cannot, if you work for the government, you can't make comments supportive of one candidate over another. And this all goes back to that Alabama race between Doug Jones and Roy Moore. And Doug Jones won, and Roy Moore says he's now broke. And there's that. The White House says that ain't what happened. She was speaking for the president. She didn't violate any Hatch Act. It's amazing how government employees will thumb their nose at the government like that. I just find that amazing. So it's just crazy to me. So, and the president, actually on the Forbes richest list of Americans list, he fell 222 spots. I mean, he's still on the list, so he still has money. But yeah, Lamar, good hearing from you, man. How the trip from the Lou was good. You saw your grandson. It was all good. You bring my wife back, man? You're supposed to bring my wife back, man. Come on, man. I can't count on you for that, man. You said you were going to bring my wife back. Where is she, man? Where is she, man? Is she hiding out somewhere? Do I need to go pick her up when I get off the air? I don't know, man. I don't know. Christina's in the house. How you doing? Very good, very good, very good. Hi, Polly. How are you? If you guys want to comment on any of these stories that I talked about today, Usher's announcing him and his wife Grace are separating, and the thing with Bobby Brown and Stevie J and all that stuff like that, you're more than welcome to. Marcy is checking in from Hawaii. My wife one time won a trip to Hawaii, a trip for 2, to the Big Island. With some hotel, and when they let her know that she won, of course we didn't believe it, but turns out that she did win the trip. So what did we do? We paid for our 2 youngest daughters to go, and they came with us to Hawaii, and we had a great time. That black sand beach is like everything, man. It was just so cool in Hawaii. And I was seriously thinking, I was laying in a hammock, and I was seriously thinking, man, could I get a radio gig in Hawaii? Could I get a radio gig in Hawaii? Because this right here is the business. But it was not to be. But we had a great time. So that's that might be the last family vacation. It was a while back. So no, actually we went to California too. Back in 2014, we got invited. I got invited. Me and my friends that we used to do a show called Men on Scandal, and we got invited to a Scandal convention. So that was interesting. Met Joe Morton, who was Papa Pope. He came by and had a great time meeting people who actually. It always tripped me out that people actually watch our shows on YouTube. It just amazed me. But apparently we had quite the following there, and that was kind of a good feeling too. So Eric is checking in from Alabama. From Dothan, Alabama. Marcy wants us back in Hawaii. Yeah. How did you end up in Hawaii? Were you born and raised there? Military? Followed your man? What was the deal on that? Getting to Hawaii? I'm always curious about. I'm nosy that way. You know, I'm always asking my boss when he does something strategic in radio. Radio is all about the science and stuff. And I always say, what's the science behind that? And he'll explain it to me because he's very nice. And I learn. I love to learn something. Let's see who we got on YouTube Live, because we're there. Rico checking in. Missed the first half over in St. Louis. Michelle says she misses Men on Scandal. And Tara's checking in too. Yeah, we quit doing Men on Scandal because we all ended up getting jobs where our hours were different. Troy Johnson is a news anchor on a talk station, a news station in Baltimore, WBAL, and he does a morning show, and I do an afternoon show, and Mark's doing a night show in New York City. And it was kind of hard to coordinate times. We were able to do it a couple of times, but it was just hard to coordinate because we all worked at different times of the day, and it was pretty tough. So Marcy says, Marcy answered me. She says she's from Hawaii. She moved to Dallas for 12 years, and then she moved back home to Hawaii. Good for you. So what was that like when you guys had that false alarm a few weeks ago? Were you there for that? I mean, were you in that area where that happened? That was, I don't know if you guys remember that there was a false notification sent out about incoming missile or something like that, and people were freaking out, and it was kind of scary for about 7 or 8 minutes until they figured out, you know what, this is not happening. Somebody hit a button. Somebody hit the wrong button, and that was that. So I guess you were there for that. Was it, if it was frightening? I want to know about that. Who's Alelia is checking in from DC minus the cray cray. Yeah, DC thing. Mark, my best friend, he lives in DC, and you know, Troy, another best friend, is in the DC Baltimore area too. And man, there's always something going on in DC. You know, it's just news-wise, there's always plenty to choose from. So that's kind of how it's supposed to be, I guess, in the nation's capital. I love, if you saw that picture of that little girl looking at that portrait of former First Lady Michelle Obama, and she just stared at it, and she was inspired and stuff. Well, the former First Lady Michelle Obama met the little girl, I believe today, and there's video that's gone viral about that. You can just search it and find it. It's pretty cool. So, Marcy, you were asleep when the notice came? You were getting your beauty rest? You woke up to 15 missed calls, concerned about you, but you were laying in bed calling the hogs. Well, there you go. But it was very scary and real, Marcy says. So I can imagine that was kind of frightening. So that was like a big story. And then the person who did it, admitted to doing it, admitted he made a mistake, and they fired him. Is that how I remember that? I think that's how that went down. So yeah. What else is going on? Again, the polls close at 7 o'clock. So if you're in Texas and you got time to vote till 7, if you're in line, I think you're good. The entire country is watching. Texas is the first to vote, to have their primary, and so people are voting, and a lot of Democrats, more than Republicans, have voted in Texas when you count the early voting and stuff like that. And that's raised a lot of eyebrows here because Texas has been a Republican state, a red state for so long. But now, you know, a lot of experts say Texas is no longer considered a Republican state. At best, it's what they call a bellwether state or something like that. So, well, I'm always in. My daughter, my youngest daughter, who just loves news and technology, she is going to college for that. She loves finding facts about stuff, and she kind of like got me on the primary and all the politics, and she's kept me up to date on all that. So mahalo, Marcy, nice talking to you. Yes, everybody go vote. Lillian, how you doing? Very good. Good to hear, good to see you, good to hear from you and everything like that. So I got to get ready to go because I have to go. In fact, if you guys can hold on for just a second, I actually got to go on the radio. So there you go. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's a vibe, Smooth R&B 105.7. That's Tank when we. Voting is still going on. The polls are going to close at 7 o'clock tonight. I think if you're in line when 7 o'clock comes, I think you should be good to go as far as voting. If you need information, pull out your phone as you drive and find out. Pull over though. Don't be reading your phone and getting information like that. But pull over and check out where you need to go if you're in town of Dallas County at krnb.com. Well, there you go. Professional radio. I don't know if I go that far, but it works. It works. It's been a career. I've been fooling people for so long, so it is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to get off here because I do have a job, and I appreciate you guys jumping in today. So here's basically the format, and most of you guys already know this, is that I spill the tea, give you some news headlines, and you're more than you're more than welcome to chime in your opinions and things like that. Good seeing you, Michelle, on YouTube. Yeah, I can't tell folks. That's why I said you got to pull over. You can't drive and pull out your phone and look for information. You got to pull over. So there you go. So Penny, how you doing? Aunt Homeda, thanks for hanging out with me. You're one of my originals. I appreciate you so much. Penny, take care. Have a good night. You guys be safe. But like I said, anytime I do, did I go to Maui? I went to the big. What's the big island called in Hawaii? I just remember it being called the Big Island. That's where I went. So. Karen, have a nice day. Have a nice evening, too. Anyway, like I was saying before, you guys are always welcome to comment on the stories that I talk about and really anything else. Get some dialogue going here, trying to build something. Follow me, my social media, Tony Scott Media, my Facebook page. I have 3 of them, but the one with the black and white picture, that's the one you want to follow. On YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/thisorthatmedia. So it's all good. Have a Sheila, good to see you. And Aunt Homeda, thank you so much. I appreciate you, too. You guys take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.